Yo, what is good YouTube? I am Richie Kicks, and today I'm going to be bringing you all the performance review on the Li-Ning Liren 5 V2. Before we get started, if you all enjoy sneaker content just like this, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below, and please hit that bell notification button so you never miss another video just like this one. Also, if you did want to buy a pair of these, I will leave an affiliate link in the description box below. If you do purchase through that link, it does help me out directly, which is very much appreciated, so I can keep bringing you all content just like this. But anyways, let's get right into it. As always, starting off with the traction, the Li-Ning Liren V5 features a full-length tough RB or tough rubber outsole, and on this particular pair, it does feature a solid rubber outsole. As far as the actual traction pattern goes, it is primarily a herringbone, traditional herringbone, but the pattern does change into like these other weird shapes and lines and stuff around the outside of the shoe. But how does it perform? I would say overall, it is pretty damn good. If you are playing on your clean courts, you're gonna have absolutely no issues. You're gonna have a very, very hard stop and very hard bites. You're pretty much gonna be sticking like glue on those clean courts. If you're playing on your mildly dusty courts, you should still have very, very good stops. You might have to wipe every so often because it does pick up dust, but obviously, like I said, just do a quick wipe, you're gonna be good to go, and traction will still be very good. Now, when it comes to extremely dusty courts, especially when it's like dry outside, that is where you might struggle a little bit. So for me, there were some days where it was just extremely dry and my court was extremely dusty and I was sliding to a stop. I did have to wipe, and after you do wipe, you do get a couple of good stops, but you will have to consistently wipe if you are playing on your like extremely dusty courts, and especially if it's like dry outside. But most of the times that's not the case for me. If it's just dusty but not dry outside, I still have pretty good traction. Just maintain the wipes and you should be good to go. So yeah, overall the traction is good on the shoe. Just be careful, like I mentioned. If you are playing on those very, very dusty courts and it's dry, you're gonna have to wipe very, very often. Otherwise you will slide to a stop. At least the good thing is I never completely slipped out. But yeah, you will slide to a stop if you don't wipe on those very, very dusty courts. As far as outdoor durability goes, this is made out of that tough RB, tough rubber. So if you want to use these outdoors, I say you can, but these are a more expensive shoe. So just keep that in mind if you do plan on using these outdoors. So moving on to the cushion, the Li-Ning Liren 5 V2 features a polymer core drive system. And that polymer core drive system is made up of full-length boom and an H-shaped P-backs plate. And the boom in here, or the midsole or the cushion, whatever you want to call it, is very, very nice. If you want a pretty springy version of boom, this is definitely going to give you that. You definitely feel like a nice bounce out of it. It's not too much, not too little. I definitely feel like if you are sprinting down the court, you kind of do feel like you're being propelled forward a little bit. So yeah, in the heel, you do have compression. Even though this is caged, this rubber isn't like super solid or anything like that. So when you do actually like push into the shoe, you do see the foam like actually expanding a little bit, which is awesome. So yeah, I mean, in the heel, you do get good impact protection. You get bounciness out of it. Feels great. As you move towards the forefoot, you still have a good amount of that springy bounciness, while also having great impact protection. But you feel pretty quick and responsive in here too. Definitely not super low to the ground feeling or anything like that because of that springiness that the shoe provides, but I still felt plenty quick in the shoe. But overall, this cushion setup does provide a springier version of boom compared to something like the D-Lo 1 that I've been playing in. So it's different, but it's still very, very nice. So moving on to the materials, the Liren 5 V2 features a primarily TPU yarn infused upper, and it feels very, very nice. It's light, it's breathable, it conforms to the foot very nicely. On top of that, you do have like fuse layers just for added durability. So you do have this fuse around the toe box area. You have this fuse or plasticky material around where the eyelets are so you don't rip through the laces when you are cranking them down. As you move towards the back, you do have that continuation of this TPU yarn. And on the very back right here, you have like this fuse material again. Moving to the tongue, you do have this very, very thin layer of like the TPU yarn or TPU mesh. And it's very thin, as you all can see. You can basically see through it. And yeah, so it doesn't provide the most padding, but if you do like to crank down your laces, I still didn't have any issues there. I didn't feel the laces digging into the top of my foot, which is awesome. So yeah, I mean, as far as the materials go, this is definitely like a very modern feeling shoe. You know, we're not getting the raw materials like leather and stuff. So yeah, this feels very light on foot. In terms of the quality, I think it's fine. In terms of the performance, I think it gets the job done very, very well. So moving on to the fit, I will say that the Liren 5 V2 does run true to size for the most part. It is definitely a little bit narrow. So I think narrow footers and normal footers going true to size is probably your best bet. Slightly wide footers, you could also go true to size or go up a half size. It really does just depend on how wide your foot is. So me as a slightly wide footer, I definitely felt some pinching pain up in this forefoot area. And it actually depends a little bit on what type of socks I was wearing as well. If I was wearing my thinner socks, I really didn't have any pinching pain up here, but when I was wearing my thicker socks, I started to feel like this little plastic piece kind of digging into the side of my foot where my pinky toe is. So just keep that in mind. Wide footers, I say go up a half size. You're definitely gonna have to go up a half size so you don't have any pain in the forefoot area. But yeah, besides the sizing of the shoe, I thought the fit was very, very good. You don't have any dead space in the toe box area. The materials lie very nicely over the foot. You do also have a half booty upper in here, which gives you as close of a one-to-one fit as possible. And as far as padding goes, like, you know, this isn't the most padded shoe, but I think it's just enough to make sure your foot is nice and snug enough in this shoe. You feel very comfortable. So yeah, I mean, overall, the fit in this shoe is good. Just please watch out if you do have wide feet. Wide footers, you're for sure gonna have to go up a half size. Everyone else, you could go true to size or potentially up a half size, just depending on how wide your feet are. So moving on to the support, I personally had zero issues with the support in the shoe. You do have like this TPU piece that does wrap onto the back. It does add some structure and rigidity. I'm sure there is an internal heel counter in here as well. So yeah, you aren't gonna have any heel slippage, heel containment issues. You also have like this nice heel sculpting, especially inside, to make sure your heel is not, you know, sliding around or slipping up and down. So yeah, heel support was fine. As far as side to side movement on the footbed goes, you're gonna be covered there as well. The materials do a great job of making sure your foot is nice and planted on that footbed. You do have this TPU piece, obviously, that wraps up onto the upper of the shoe, which kind of acts as a sidewall, and the logo right here. It is made out of a stiffer material, which also just enhances that lockdown a little bit. As far as hard lateral movements go, you're gonna be covered there as well. You do have a fairly wide base, and this does protrude out a little bit to act as a pseudo outrigger, even though this outsole is slightly rounded. So you're gonna be covered there as well. And like I mentioned earlier, you do have that P-Bax plate in here, which does provide torsional rigidity and stability. So yeah, overall, the support in the Liren 5 V2 is good, and I had absolutely zero issues. So the Liren 5 V2 retails between, I think, like 150 and 175 bucks. I think it just depends on the colorway and where you get it from. Personally, I got this pair from Kickzone, which they sent to me, so big shout out to them. But for that price, would I recommend it? Yeah, I would. It is a very, very fun shoe to play in. This is definitely something that would be in my bag. It just depends on how I feel that day. Like, do I want something a little bit more springy? Do I want something a little bit more soft? This shoe in particular is something that I would play in when I want to feel a little bit more springy and bouncy, just because this cushion setup, it's not, you know, overly bouncy or anything like that. It's just a very good amount of that bounciness, which some days I actually prefer compared to something super soft or, you know, very, very responsive. So yeah, I mean, the Liren 5 V2 is very, very nice. I wish I had a pair of the Liren 5 V1s. I heard those were amazing performers. So I can't really give you a direct comparison between that shoe and this shoe, but what I can tell you is this shoe is still a great performer. And if you all did want to buy a pair of these, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Like I mentioned earlier, if you do want to buy a pair of these, I'll leave an affiliate link in the description box below for you. And if you do purchase through that link, it does help me out directly. So yeah, please use that link if you do buy a pair. But that's pretty much it for this performance review. If you all like this video, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below, smash that thumbs up button for me, and leave a comment, as those really do help me out. Check out these videos over here, and that's pretty much it. Until next time, peace.